Now, this project is to help you identify different style of communicating and to identify your primary style. Speech is to share the impact of your style on others. Now, Freddi has been teaching communication and personal style for over 20 years and is a living proof that we can always learn. Her speech title, Does My Butt Look Fat in This?
Valentina, the short answer is yes, it does. I was 3 years old, and our hired man and his wife had their very first child. And I looked in the bassinet and I said, "That's an ugly baby." Much to my surprise, years later, people did not appreciate the very honest and direct approach that I took to communication. And it took many hours of counseling, courses, and training for me to learn that there was more ways of communicating than the way that I chose. So for my project this morning, I'm going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to Freddi-ize some of these things. And I'm going to just share with you some of the communication styles and then also some of the lessons that I've learned as to how my native style doesn't always work. So the first style I'd like to talk about is that awesome analytical elephant. Now, an analytical elephant, this communication style, they're precise. They're accurate. They're slow to respond because they need to think and to process and to evaluate all of the potential things they could say and then all of the potential responses that could come back from what they say. So if you are an analytical elephant, we're not going to expect you to respond really, really quickly. Communication style number 2, the supportive sock monkey. These are the people that reach out and touch our hearts. It's like having a verbal cuddle or an oratorial snuggle whenever you're having communications with these people. They will use soft, loving words. They're feeling, they're emotional. They will never be harsh. They would never tell you that you had an ugly baby. Our third communication style, the initiator. Here's my zombie sock puppet. Everybody needs to have a zombie sock puppet because these people are the fun, irreverent, you never really know what's going to quite come out of their mouth kind of people. It's like a verbal joy buzzer talking to this people. I think the president of our club might just be a little bit like that, just saying. But you just never know what's going to come out of these people that are our verbal sock monkeys. What a joy, what a delight, because every conversation is a brand new day. And it's not unusual for these folks to lose their train of thought and they just calmly change horses in the middle of the stream and leave you hanging on a branch going, what the heck are we talking about now? And then there's me. Apparently, according to the evaluation that I took in my project, my style is very directive. Who knew? I like to cut to the chase. Use as few words as possible. Words just waste time. Let's just pitter-patter, get at her. And so when I think a look at my style as the T-Rex, that's what's got me into trouble all of these years. You see, if I'm talking to another T-Rex and we're just biting off words and we're speaking in bullet points, that's cool because we get it. If somebody's giving me a evaluation, they say, that sucked, that was terrible, that's really awful, but that, not so bad. That works for me. What I don't get is when people use words like this big tangle of string and they're trying to make me feel good and soften the message and I'm 747 city, I don't get the message. I'm not smart enough to figure out all of these nicey ways that you're trying to communicate with me. Because as a directive type of communicator, I just like it shoulder to shoulder. But that causes problems on my end. Because if I am speaking to one of the other styles, it's up to me to adjust my style so that I can communicate with you rather than expecting you to adjust to my somewhat abrasive style. So, lessons learned. I have learned that when communicating, sorry Zeke, to an elephant, like my husband, I have to wait, maybe 5-6 minutes for a response. Now, in the meantime, my little directive brain has gone on to 7 other subjects. I've solved 12 problems. And when he responds, I've kind of forgotten what we were talking about. And so he has learned to just gently remind me, right? We were talking about dinner. Oh, right, okay, dinner, I'm on it. And so I've had to learn patience. Talking to my sock monkey friends. I love my sock monkey friends because they have taught me that there does need to be an element of care, concern, and consideration when we're speaking with other people. So I've actually learned to use feeling language. And it's not easy and it's not natural for me, but I discovered it works. Because when you build a relationship, all of a sudden, the conversation flows so much better. I don't have much trouble talking to the zombie sock monkeys because they're completely irreverent, they're off the wall, and that kind of works for me too. Because even if I'm speaking very directly to them, they don't kind of get it because they're having their own little party in their head. How cool is that? But I've also learned to have some fun with communication so that I can talk to our zombie sock puppets as well. But when it comes to speaking to another T-Rex, wow, that's when I'm really comfortable. My friend Mr. McTavish, he shoots from the shoulder. And when he says, Freddi, gas your granny, I do. I really appreciate the direct approach. Sometimes in my workshops, I tell people, I used to have feelings, but I got over them. And I think that's a model for my life. So my fellow Toastmasters, when you're talking to me, when you're evaluating me, it's okay to speak in bullet points, use as few words as possible, be direct, because I'd really like to understand what you have to say to me. And actually, Valentina, you look hot. That does not make your butt look big at all.
Thank you.